Welcome, champions, to the next overview and tier list ranking on any new or reworked champion. This time it's on a brand new Evergreen Champion, Windfall, the chaotic evil tiefling bard with a DPS, support, and gold role in seat 5, which means we now have an Evergreen Champion in every seat. As an Evergreen, that means she'll be unlocked through a variant within a campaign. This time around, that's going to be through Vecna, Eve of Ruin. So we'll both be going through her kit, as well as talking about the variant. But first, let's break her down. First off, with her attacks, she will simply attack one random enemy for a single hit with her primary base attack. But with her ultimate, she will erupt in a scintillating flash, dealing one ultimate hit to all enemies on screen, stunning them, and then slowing them. For her formation abilities, their bread and butter is the long game, where Windfall increases the damage of all champions in the columns with the most slots by 100%. If multiple columns are tied, they are both affected. So just be sure your DPS is placed in a column that has the most slots in the current formation. As she is tied to Vecna, she also has Dragon's Pride, where Windfall increases the effect of long game by 20%. For each adventure, variant, and patron variant you have completed in the Vecna Eve of Ruin campaign, stacking multiplicatively. You should be familiar with abilities like this by now from Ren, Crux, Yorvin, etc., etc. And of course, since she's tied to Vecna Eve of Ruin, she will also gain the passive of Proprietor of the Red Belvedere, where she can be used in any Vecna Eve of Ruin campaign adventure or variant, regardless if she was otherwise qualifying or not. She also gains the Gambler, where when Windfall attacks and kills the enemy, she gains a raise stack. Otherwise, she gains a call stack. Gold find is increased for each raise stack, stacking multiplicatively, and then her damage as well as the long game are both increased for each call stack, stacking multiplicatively. Both of them are capped at 25 stacks and reset upon changing areas. So you're either getting more gold find as you kill, or more damage for her, / more damage buffing for the long game while you're not. Now with her specializations, she has 5 options, each resembling a color from the chromatic dragons. So let's take a look at them. With Red Dragon's Greed, she tries to avoid attacking enemies that don't drop gold or count for quest progress. Her normal attacks light her target on fire, dealing 3 seconds of Bud-based damage to the enemy every second for 5 seconds. With Blue Dragon's Spark, Windfall gains the control role, and she prefers to attack stunned enemies. Her normal attacks are charged with lightning, striking out at up to 2 other random enemies, dealing 5 seconds of Bud-based damage to them, and stunning all enemies damaged for 3 seconds. With Green Dragon's Spite, Windfall prefers to attack the farthest target. Her normal attacks exude a small cloud of poisonous gas around the target for 10 seconds. Enemies in the gas cloud take 2 seconds of Bud-based damage every second while they are in the area. With Black Dragon's Corrosion, Windfall gains the Breaker role, and she prefers to attack armored or hit-based enemies. Her normal attacks coat the target in acid, dealing 10 seconds of Bud-based damage, and all successful attacks against those targets break an additional piece of armored or segmented health. And finally, with White Dragon's Call, Windfall gains the control role, and she prefers to attack slowed enemies. Her normal attacks create a medium cloud of icy air for 5 seconds around her target. Enemies within the cloud take 1 second of Bud-based damage every second while they are in the area and are slowed by 50%. Her equipment is actually pretty good overall, especially considering that she's an Evergreen, as she does have a pre-stack. It was brought to my attention that I made a mistake during this video in my haste to complete the variant and get the video done at the same time. I need to correct this moment and say she is not pre-stack. I was wrong. It's just kinda worded funny. Oops. Her first slot is for all champion damage, then the long game, then the Gambler, which is her pre-stack ability. Oops. Now, to counter this, as long as this isn't a bug, but it makes sense if it isn't, she will receive a lower amount of item levels from chests in general when compared to other core or evergreen champions. I'm guessing this is to counterbalance the pre-stack, as that makes sense. I didn't see that identified anywhere though, so I'm not sure. Oops. And then she has one for Dragon's Pride, one for her Specializations, and of course one for Ultimate Attack Cooldown. Overall pretty good. Again, especially since we're talking about an evergreen. This allows her to reach competitive numbers. Especially since the more you play the game, the more item levels you're going to be able to invest in her pre-stack. Her achievement isn't so bad, but will take just a little time. You need to make 1,000 attacks with each of her specialization choices selected, so a total of 5,000 attacks mixed between the 5. Now, talking about her availability, we're really looking at another Cass here. She has a TOT of 124. The only quote-unquote lacking ability score we have here is her strength at a 14. Her dex is 24, con is 20, int is 22, wisdom is 18, and charisma is 26. This allows her to be available for almost everything in the game, obviously other than things that require a low TOT, that will block evil, things like that. But she is wide open for availability. And speaking of availability, she is available for every Day 1 Trials restriction and all of the patrons. As far as her tier ranking goes, she's gonna climb on up to the A+. Having an evergreen that has a pre-stack with great availability is all around just good. Now let's talk about her variant. Double or Nothing. In, of course, Vecna, Eve of Ruin. The formation slots are colored red, black, and 2 glowing green slots. A giant roulette ball joins the formation as an escort, starting upon entering Area 76 and every 75 areas thereafter. The giant roulette ball jumps up and spins around in a circle above the formation before landing on a random formation slot, removing that champion and all other champions that are in the formation slot of the same color. Removed champions can't be used for the rest of the adventure, and the ball stays in that slot until it moves again. Champions cannot otherwise be removed from the formation once they've been placed. Click damage only deals damage for the first 25 areas, and fire breath potions cannot be used during the adventure. Now, if you're paying attention, you've probably gathered that this variant kinda sucks. There's a bit of strategizing you can do, but it all comes down to RNG at the end of the day. You cannot control or predict where the giant roulette ball is going to land. There's a few ways you can work around it, but ultimately, it's gonna land on a color, you're gonna lose champions, you don't know which one's gonna happen. Of course, the standard strategy for something like this is a good idea to employ, which is slotting your least invested champions, i.e. the worst buffers, early and saving your good champions for later. However, that can kinda backfire in this one, since it is completely RNG. One of the very early people you slot might hang around forever, you can't control it. But still, in general, you're going to lose most of your early slotters and be able to build into better ones as you go. Also, a general rule to follow is to only slot the amount of champions you absolutely need to breach your current wall as you go. That way you can, in a way, control who goes first, because there will only be so many options, and if you're only using 2 or 3 champions, it's gotta pick one of them. But you'll only be able to maintain that for so long. This isn't one you can plan out like Ren was, where you knew the alignments ahead of time. So good luck out there, because even in my run, I made plenty of mistakes myself as I went, trying different things on my first run, like forgetting that my seat 1 would have been automatically thrown in there, so I got rid of Esmeralda too early, getting the bug where if I even try to use Briv, it just destroys my entire formation. I threw in DM and the Dirge early on just to see if I could bring them back because of their abilities. I couldn't, but eventually I was able to get it done. You are going to need a decent roster and at least some level of good buffing potential. We're not talking super late game here, as you only need to complete area 1200. That is still out of reach for some people, so keep that in mind. You don't even want to attempt this until you can comfortably clear 1200 and have plenty of champions to choose from. Thanks for dropping in today. Hit that like, sub, and bell for me. And honestly, good luck out there on unlocking this new Evergreen Champion. But of course, more importantly than that, have a hell of a time out there, champion.